Hello there and welcome to my channel Novice Modelling in a Midlife Crisis. My name is Andy and today we're going to be doing what's in the box kit review number 288, and we're going to be looking at my AZ model, kit number AZ7612, which as you can see is a Fiat CR-32 Chirri export, and this is actually done up in Chinese nationalist colours, but it also comes in Austrian markings as well, which I found kind of interesting, and then it's got some German markings for post Anschluss. The basic history of this kit, before we start looking at the parts, is it comes from a new tooling created in 2019, so it's pretty modern, and there's a few that are actually available from AZ models covering different themes, I suppose you could say. And they are to include this one, which is 7612, Chinese, Austrian and Germany. They also do a Hungarian version, which is 7613, which comes with 3 different variants. They do an Italian, which is 7620, which I don't have for some reason. They also do 7621, which is a Spanish Chirri for the Spanish Civil War, which comes with 3 quite interesting variations. And there is also a more modern one, 7022, 7829, which is an Italian night fighter version, but it's the same basic kit. So you get the same kit, it's just some new decals with it basically. So there's not really an awful lot of parts to go through with this. There's only 2 small sprues, so I'm sure I can find something to drone on about. I've got something interesting to say after we've done it that you might want to tune in for. It's worth pointing out though that I did actually, I'm actually doing this one by request, this review of Ron in the States, who we had a brief conversation about my little side passion for the smaller nations of smaller nation air forces of World War II, and he challenged me to, I think, do an Austrian. And this is a Austrian kit that I have. I have a couple of other ones, but he wanted the Chirri. So, hi Ron, how are you doing? Okay, so let's have a look at these parts finally. So as we can see, we have our fuselage here. It's kind of small. It's not much bigger than my finger, so it's only a little one. But we have managed to get some quite nice detail going on in here. We've got a variety of panel lines with some access points. It's got a ready molded exhaust, I forgot the word, thing. We have our interior of the fuselage here, which we can see the floor for the pedals. We've got what looks like a stick. I'm not too sure what those parts are. These are the struts between the wings, so as you can see there to there, it's tiny. Looks like the back plate for the pilot's seat. There's nothing much on the back. Looks like we've got some sort of vent here. Don't know what that is. There's the nose cone for it with some venting. That's going to be a little mounting point for the propeller. Here we have the tail assembly, so there's the rudder. And they're going to be the ailerons, I should think. Oh, no, sorry. They're the tails, and that's the rudder there. My mistake. We do seem to have 2 options on that. Got the wheel spats here, because it's got a fixed undercarriage. A couple of wheels. Not much detail going on there. More wheel spats, and these are the short stubby wings. I was quite surprised at how small these are. The lower wings, so they're really quite small when you compare them to the top section of the wing, like that. So it should look kind of cool. As we can see on the interior, we have some very minor tubing detail for the cockpit interior, which is worth pointing out for those that like to do the detail there. This is our next sprue, so we've got the upper wing, fixed ailerons. We can see some ribbon. I'm guessing this is a fabric covered wing, well I'm not 100% certain. It's one piece, so there's no sticking together, and we can see we've got the mounting points there for our struts. These are two parts here. I was kind of confused by these. These are long sort of exhaust extensions for the exhaust manifold. There we go, that's what it is. And they actually, let's just pull this up, they go right the way along here. And although it's not depicted, I'll show you in the instructions, although it's not depicted on the box art, it says CN. So I'm thinking that means it's relevant for the Chinese nationalist one, but not the Austrian. It's actually pictured on the box art of the Night Fighter, which I don't have. And that kind of makes sense, because that's going to be diverting any sort of glow away from the engine. But anyway, that's just me thinking out loud. So we've got the top of the engine housing here. See, we've got some fine detail, some rivet marks, a couple more vents. Too sure what they are. We have a very, very small cockpit instrument display panel. Is that a tail wheel? I think that's the tail wheel. Two-bladed propeller. No idea. I think they're mountings for in between the wing and the fuselage. And these are looking like more struts here as well for the wings. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what they are. So it's only a little kit. It's kind of fun looking. eBay, I think these are about sort of £15, something like that. Here we have our nice decal sheet, so we can see here we've got the Austrian markings pre-Anschluss. We've got some German markings for post-Anschluss, and we have the Chinese Nationalist Air Force as well. So, I'll read that out in a minute. I'll just go through what I was actually going to say. It's actually occurred to me while I'm doing this and with this sort of conversation with Ron, I've not actually built a biplane yet, so I've kind of decided that over the next month I'm going to be doing a You Choose My Next Build, which is my feature for picking kits for some biplanes. I am also aware, because I was watching something the other night about the Spanish Civil War, that the Spanish Civil War actually started about 2 weeks ago, and I do kind of like building kits to coincide with things. So I'm going to be offering up some Spanish Civil War biplanes in a month or so, and one of them is going to be the Chirri for you guys to pick from. And we'll probably do this Hawker Fury as well, which is the Republican Air Force. We've got this Heinkel HE51B, which is nationalist, and we've got this Polikarpov I-15 Chateau, which is Republican. So that'll be the next You Choose My Next Build for 172 aircraft, and we'll be doing that in a week or so. But I'm also going to do a review, I think probably tomorrow, for this Over All of Spain The Sky Is Clear kit number ICM DS7212, which is I forget the name of it now, a Russian bomber with a couple of BF-109s of the Nationalist Air Force in the background, which is a pretty cool kit, considering it only costs about 25 quid for 3 planes. So I think I'm going to start building that one next, after doing a review and finishing off the other stuff that we've got to try and finish off. So we're going to be building that over the next month. And we'll be doing a what's in the box for Spanish Civil War biplanes as well. So let's just read this blurb out and have a look at these instructions. So instruction wise, what we got? We've got the fuselage going together with the pilot's seat, etc. We've got the top section of the engine mounting going on in 4. 5, we're looking at the rear, so we're doing the tail and the lower wings. Then we're going to turn our attention to the engine, and we're going to put some small parts on, and then we're going to start doing our wheel spats. Got some little struts to go underneath here. Here we can see these long exhaust extensions where it says only version CN, so I'm guessing that's Chinese Nationalist. It doesn't really say apart from CN. And we're going to start putting the upper wing together with all its struts. And it's finished. Just got to paint it up. So let's read this blurb out. It's kind of long, but you know, you can click out now if you want, I suppose. The Fiat CR-32 was designed by the noted aeronautical engineer Celestino Rastelli. It was derived from the earlier Fiat CR-30. The CR-30, being a relatively fast and manoeuvrable aircraft in its time, had received limited production orders for the type from the Regia Aeronautica, but within the space of 12 months it had been superseded by the new CR-32. In comparison to the CR-30, the CR-32 featured a more streamlined and smaller fuselage, resulting in a much more compact aircraft overall. According to aviation author Gianni Cataneo, the type was a product of a decade-old formula developed not only by Rastelli but by his predecessors as well. On 28th of April 1933, the prototype CR-32, which was designated as the MM201, performed its maiden flight from the Fiat Company airstrip at Chirri. By the end of the war, the first production examples, by the end of the year, the first production examples were already arriving with frontline units of the Regia Aeronautica. Mass production of the type would proceed over the following years. Between 1933 and 1938, a total of 4 distinct variants of the CR2 were developed: the standard BIS, TER and Quater. The CR-32 BIS was provided with a more powerful Fiat A30R V12 engine, as well as 2 additional machine guns, with the TER and the Quater retained the original armament arrangement, differing by the adoption of improved sights and instrumentation. By 1938, the CR-32 had been rendered obsolete by advances in the field of aviation, including the arrival of a new generation of monoplane fighters, which were capable of superior performance. The CR-32 was directly superseded by the Fiat CR-42, which was a further development of the biplane platform, having been derived from the CR-32 itself. During the development of this improved derivative, a total of 4 CR-32s were converted to serve as prototypes, an act which highlighted the strong connection between the 2 fighters. The CR-32 was powered by a single water-cooled Fiat A30 VA V12 engine. Designed in 1930, it was a 60-degree V12 producing up to 447 kilowatts or 600 horsepower at 2,600 RPM. Reportedly inspired by the American Curtiss D12, it drove a 2.82 metre, 9'4", 2-bladed metal propeller with pitch only adjustable on the ground, not in flight. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Please do tune in probably tomorrow for our review of our ICM over all of Spain. The sky is clear. That's kind of an interesting looking kit. And sometime over the next week or so, we'll be starting our You Choose My Next build for the Spanish Civil War biplanes that I have. So thanks very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. And as always, be seeing you.